Welcome to a very special all-natural being. If things going right, then it should be working right now, I'm thinking, right? We said we're going to kick it off Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. We were going to stick around, see what was going on. I think we're coming out. I think we're going there. So welcome, friends. Thank you very much. Live. Thank you very much for joining me this morning, for hanging out here. And let me just turn this off. You know what? Wayne's off on Sundays, as you may not know, but you will hear shortly. Wayne's off on Sundays, so if you're thinking, wow, man, this show is like no frills. There's no logo. There's no musical open. There's none of this. Yeah, because brains, Wayne is the brains of the operation. I've been lucky if I can get a signal to go out here at all. So, in any event, welcome to everyone that may be watching live. Who knows? Normally, Wayne's in my ear going, oh, well, it's going live. It's not going live. But here's what we want to do. There's so much to get to today, so little time. We wanted to make mention of the fact we'll be here every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. for as long as the hysteria lasts, right? What we're going to do... and yes, I'll go over the booth. Thank you very much for the text. I'll go over the booth here in a little bit. But what we're going to do is Sunday mornings is just get together. Everyone's shut in. Everyone's under lockdown. Right? All this craziness. So we're just going to come and we'll hang out together and see if we can't have some fun. See, as I said in the post, we're going to put we'll put the boxing gloves aside just for this show. Right? We'll be able to say, oh, okay. Right? Let's not pick fights with anyone. Let's just have this be a place that people can come to, because long before we were Dems and Repubs and socialists and communists and independents and libertarians, but right before we were all that, we were humans, right? Humankind. You were one of us. So long before Christians and Jews and Muslims and shamans and everybody else, right? You were one of us. Long before all the indoctrination took place, you were one of us. We were one of a kind. Right? You and me. One of a kind. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't sign up. I got to click off right now. I'm not going to be one of a kind with that moron. My apologies to morons. All right, but what I wanted to say is we're just going to get together on Sunday mornings and go, hey, let's find a cool place till they bring down the internet, right? I know, you just can't watch enough of the squirrel skateboarding or skiing on the back of that power boat. Nah, there'll be plenty of time for all that on the internet. What are you worried about? Not to worry at all. You'll be fine. But before they pull the internet down, right? We just wanted to say, hey, we'll be here Sunday morning. So if you want to hang out, if you want to kick it around, if you just want maybe it's not even a different perspective, because let's jump to that right away. Let's jump to perspectives. I am not in any way belittling what we're up against. I'm simply suggesting that there may be another way of handling this headache without all the hysteria, right? And ultimately, as you know, if you've been following me at all, you know about Mortal Up. See the logo. You know about Mortal Up, and it just simply means that this whole show is about reminiscence. It's about remembering that everything you've ever needed, you've always had. That your abilities are untouchable. Your natural resources, untouchable. The marrow of your mind, your authentic vigor, right? It's all in there. It's all in there. And all you need to do is call it back up. And at times of trouble, I can't think of a better time to remember who you ultimately are. All right, let's get to some of the things. I don't want to talk about amnesia. There's some other things that I've said that we would talk about. All right. And yes, starting next week, I'll actually be able to read texts on this phone. As long as Wayne helps me set that all up, I'll be able to read some texts. So that's what we'll be doing. As I learn. As my mind comes back online, that's going to happen. So, in any event, a couple quick questions about what the text I have been able to see. Now, okay, so let's go over the booth. You should know I'm social distancing inside of my own booth. Now, you go, whoa, you have a sound booth? I built a sound booth. Now, the second question that has every right to pop to your mind, you go, Brian, you know how to build a booth? No, but I went over to Home Depot. And I went to the pro desk and said, hey, I don't know about any of this. And they start talking to me and they go, okay, well, first take your roofing square. And I said, baby, English, what's a roofing square? They go, oh, wow, you really are lost. But in any event, I learned how to frame a room. I learned, for the most part, how to soundproof it, how to build all this. And I did it for thanks for the good folks at Home Depot. And so that's how you know. I didn't know any of this before the social distancing lockdown. I didn't know any of this before I built it, but so that's the thing there. And mentioning Home Depot, I went over there yesterday to get a light bulb. Right, I love the fact that you can get parking right up front. But somebody stole, right? When you walk into a Home Depot, there's a little stand that says, we're thinking of your germs, or whatever the sign says. Somebody stole the bottle of Purell. And even though I swore I wouldn't mention the term, people ask me, why do you keep calling people asshats? You steal the entire bottle of Purell from the entrance of Home Depot? Are you kidding me? All right, but I said we wouldn't do this on Sundays. We're not going to talk about assets. This is the last thing I'll say about asshat protection. People go, I can't believe you call me an asshat. I didn't call you an asshat. The only reason my ears perk up if someone says an Irish joke is, well, because I'm Irish. You make a joke about people with hair lips, right? My ears lock on. I want to hear about this joke about hair lips. You make fun of somebody that's an ex-cop, ex-military. You make fun of someone from West Virginia. Right? My ears perk up because I want to know. So don't be offended. If you're not an asshat, how can that word offend you? You know I'm not talking about you. Like people go, I can't believe you called me an asshat. I didn't call you an asshat. If you triggered on that word, maybe some time in front of the mirror. But no, I didn't call you an asshat. You'll know. But in any event, that's not what we're doing all about. That's not what we're all about here. We're here to find the common good that I believe that you possess when you mortal up. I believe we're here to find the common good, to get to the person who you were before you've forgotten who you truly are. Because in times of trouble, uncertain times like this, the way to get through it is to remember who you ultimately are. Second thing I wanted to address, because a lot of people going, oh, that's just ignorant. That's just ignorant. No, that would be Brian Williams' math skills. Brian Brody, you just got the wrong Brian is all I'm saying, right? When I post some of this math, you know me, I can't do math. So I have to go to people that know how to do math, and then I go, oh, okay, great, that's right. So then I kind of have it checked and double checked. Like Santa Claus checking his list. He's checking his list. He's making it twice, right? He's going to find out who knows math and who doesn't. Brian Williams. Or the young lady from the New York Times editorial board that didn't know the difference between $1 and $1 million. All right, so in any event, wrong Brian, but it's an honest mistake. People make them. What are you going to do? So when I do that, no, when people say, well, I'm in the target audience, time out. Oh, hey, speaking of time out that I mentioned, I did want to do this. I couldn't pull in the gong that everyone's been looking for. There's just not enough room in here. It's a sound booth. It's a box. It's like one big coffin. But I did bring in the prayer bowl. Right? Can't go home. Can't go very far without it. So I don't have the gong, but yes, I have the prayer bowl. All right. And you might be saying to yourself, and this is a shout out to my good friend Jenny, you might be saying to yourself, okay, so listen, let me just say this, because I'm never going to get any credit for it, right? But just because so many people are able to tell exactly how this is going to go, I said a couple of weeks ago to a really good friend of mine, hey, you watch, gas is $2 now a gallon. By the end of this month, it'll drop below $1.50. Everybody laughed, shirt, well, guess what it was this morning? $1.49. People go, how did you know it was going to drop 50 cents? How did you withstand the storm of everyone saying, who are you, Nostradamus? Who are you, Kreskin? Right? How did you know this? Well, here's the answer. I have a crystal ball. Yeah, thank you, Jenny, very much. I have a crystal ball. I love it. It's beautiful. The color of my kids' eyes, actually. I love it. It's a crystal ball. That's how I knew gas was going to drop below $1.50. So now, listen, please, I know everyone's going to start texting going, can you give us stock tips or pick winning lottery numbers? If I could see the winning lottery numbers to this crystal ball, you don't think I'd have a bigger sound booth? You don't think I could have afforded more 2x4s? All right, so in any event, I think I've got that all out of the way. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. Here's the whole thing about amnesia. When you forget who you ultimately are, you possess that ability right now. There isn't anything that fate can throw at you that you can't stand, square your shoulders and go, fate, you're going to need some more help. That's all I'm trying to suggest in terms of getting everyone together and doing this on a Sunday morning is that we go, hey, I think I really can mortal up. I can rise to the challenge. So now people say to me two different things I would mention to you, and then we'll get it like a cat coughing up a hairball. No, that's not a coronavirus joke. Save your snarky emails. Like a cat cupping off a hairball. You want to get it off your chest. You want to vent. You want to get it out of you so you can get into the really good stuff. It's like, right, when you have to eat the asparagus before you get to the steak, and you just go, oh, great, just let me get through this let me get through the cauliflower so I can get to the T-bone or something like that, right? Or squirrel. Someone said to me this morning, hey, you can cook squirrel. Yeah, it tastes like chicken to me, to be honest. All right, so in any event, two things that I wanted to cover this morning. People say, oh, well, I'm part of the target audience. Well, so am I. And if you haven't heard of this before, had 5 brain surgeries in the last 2.5 years, now coming up on 3 years. But with all those brain surgeries, they gave me enough antibiotics to knock down a horse. And no, not a Shetland pony. I'm talking like a Clydesdale, a really cute, those horses with the nice white feet. A beer commercial uses them, but just, right? Enough antibiotics. My immune system is crushed. So when people say, well, I think it's really important that we do everything we can to lock this country down. I'm one of the people that could die from this. Well, so am I. But I'm simply suggesting that if we all get stressed out, if we all get worried, look, all the doctors that are online, either they like what I say or they don't like what I say. Ask that doctor, pull that doctor aside and go, is Brian right? Yes or no? I just want a yes or no answer. Is this lunatic right when he says, if you're full of fear, you're full of anxiety, you're full of worry, you're full of stress, that it makes your immune system less capable of fighting an intruder? Just ask them that, right? All these, I know, right? The internet is full of these astrophysicists, right? And immunologists and infectious disease experts, medical room operator experts. I get that, right? All of these people. But just ask one of your doctors. If you have a stress system that's all hands on deck, that believes in itself, that's able to fire back no matter what, or B, if you're a dimwit and no, I don't mean that pejoratively, right? I don't mean to be petulant. If you're a dimwit and your immune system is busy, worried and stressed and full of anxiety, it's like having an immune system with their hands tied behind your back, right? Like that Monty Python skit, The Knight That's Guarding. See, if I could just learn how to edit video, next week, tune in, I will have learned where am I going? They won't allow me out of the house, right? So I will learn how to edit in video for those of you that haven't seen it. But you see I really will. I will learn that by next Sunday. The Monty Python, the knight guarding the bridge, one arm gets cut off, the other arm gets cut off, and then the King Arthur cuts off his leg, cuts off his other leg, and the knight's still fighting, but he doesn't have any arms and doesn't have any legs. Well, that's what we're doing to our immune system. It's like that knight guarding the bridge, the dark knight guarding the bridge. We're taking our immune system and capping it, right? It's like a drive-by shooting. We're taking our immune system and just smacking the snot out of it, and then you go, hey, immune system, could you protect me from COVID-19, the Wuhan virus, the Wuhan flu? Could you protect me, please? And the immune system's going, wait a minute, this is an 11 alarm fire. You got me fighting the fire at all these different points of entry. I got an idea. How about this? How about don't panic? Another thing I will say to you, all the people say, oh, well, I'm the poster child, so I'm all over locking everything down. All right, great. So am I. You and I just disagree. I'm a poster child. I'm someone that's susceptible. I've celebrated my 45th birthday a dozen or so times. Who knows? You lose track when you have amnesia. A dozen or so times. I don't know, right? But here's the other thing. I love it. And I got into a little bit of spat yesterday. He's not watching, so who cares, right? It wouldn't do me any good to say his name, right? But one of these other millionaire CMOs, one of these other, bajillionaire people that go, well, it's okay if the economy suffers. We need to get on top of this. 3 people dead in Ohio, and they're locking the place down, which, again, just helps me with the oh, how I'm out of here acronym, but I can't go anywhere. So, right, that's not going to happen. All right, let's see in case, that's from LinkedIn. I don't think anyone's coming in from over there. All right, so here's the thing, right? In addition to being the poster child for it, in addition to saying that maybe your immune system would like to be able to deal with this invader instead of being panicked, I said to this guy who I've known for years, he's a bajillionaire CMO of a big company, and he goes, well, I think it's important we should, whatever happens to the economy, as long as we save lives. Forget the fact, right? So that'd be like saying, hey, last year in the state of Ohio, 1,600 people, I believe, just in the state of Ohio, about 1,600 people were killed by automobiles, so we ought to outlaw automobiles. All right? So that's all I'm saying. But in any event, this brainiac CMO, who's a bajillionaire, right? He doesn't care. And he says, well, I think it's important to bring down the economy. And my question is, okay, you want to bring down the economy to save the 3 people in Ohio? I think it's up to 6 in Illinois. Yes, it's up big in New York City. I understand that. I get it all. But all I'm asking is, how about the people that will lose their jobs? How about the families that will be evicted? How about the young kids, everyone that will go? Now, I know what you're thinking. We could all use a little intermittent fasting, right? That's why I said yesterday, I'm social distancing from my refrigerator, right? Not the liquor cabinet, right? I'm not a heathen, but I'm social distancing from the refrigerator because I could still stand to lose a few more pounds. But what about all these people? It's all the wealthy people running around going, well, I think it's good that we just tank the economy. Yeah, because you got $1 billion sitting in the bank. Who cares what you think? How about the moms and the dads? The moms and the dads that have to stay home now because all the schools are locked down. All the kids, yeah, we got to keep them out of here, right? All the kids are locked down, so now they can't go to work. They can't get money for groceries. They can't get money for their phone bill. They can't get money to pay rent. They can't do all these other things. So by the time you get a check, if you get a check, you're one of the ones lucky enough to get a check from the federal government, it'll all go to bounce check fees because all you're doing is trying to survive. So all these wealthy brainiacs that are in here going, well, I think we should bring whatever we have to do to save a life. Where was all that concern with all the other things that we're dying of? Where was all that concern then? Now, because we have a little, would you admit at least a little bit of hype when it comes to the Wuhan virus, right? That maybe the long-term detriment will be a lot more if we put people out on the streets, if people can't eat, if their immune systems are even further depressed. All right, so I got it off my list. Let me see. Here's the sound booth. You saw it. I saw the prayer bowl. All right. I'm the target, or the poster child with a compromised immune system, and I'm, 40-something. Oh, my God, it's 50-something now. Yeah. How long was I asleep? How long did that amnesia last? So it's 50-something. I've been celebrating my 55th birthday a half a dozen times or something like that, right? So I covered that. Oh, and all the billionaire brainiacs going, we don't care what happens to the stock market. We're great. Yeah, in your gated community with a hole in the ground that you go into, all the food, all the water, everything. You don't care what happens. Yeah, let's do it. Whatever. All right, so I got rid of all that. Now I got it out of my system. All right, so now let's talk about you. Let's talk about the you. When I said in the post this morning, let's reminisce. Let's talk about the you that was you, right? Before, I know what I wanted to also, if I can. I'm sorry. We'll get to the show here in just a minute. What I wanted to also make mention, people go, well, on your Facebook and Twitter and here and there, you go, look, you're standing up to brittle brains atop balsa wood spines. You're going to fight all the asshats that are busy running around trying to tank our world. And you know why? Because my days are numbered. You and I both know that. I don't do or say. People go, well, on social media, it's all a fairy tale, people. I'm thrilled by people go, well, I'll send him a mean face, or I'll go ahead and unlike him, or I'll go ahead and defriend him. Unfriend him? I don't even know what the term is. Don't let the screen door catch you in the ass on the way out. Right, so, but I don't understand what all this is. Oh, well, I'm just going to show that I like a comment that's anti him. It's all make-believe, people. Nobody cares what we think. Nobody. But in any event, I care what you think. Now, so as we get ready to do all this, I would say to you that when you remember who you are outside of all the hype, outside of all the people wanting to unfriend you, outside of all the people going, I'm going to leave a nasty comment. If I told you the number of times a day someone says you're ignorant, I go, well, right? So what? Don't come, right? I had someone pick a fight with me yesterday when I handed a lacrosse stick and a breakfast bag. Now, it actually happened at the drive-up window. I joked, and I took the lacrosse stick and said, I stuck it out the window going in and said, if you'd rather put my breakfast sandwich in here, that would be okay. But I didn't think that was that funny because, right? So I came home and I staged it, right, with the lacrosse stick looking down. Someone goes, oh, this is fake news. There's no one in the car. I see his house in the background. This is all a lie. It's a joke, right? Of course it's a lie. So let's not do, everyone wants the cancel culture. You want the cancel culture? I say go over to MSNBC or CNN. There'll be plenty of people that you want to call out the cancel culture warriors. Sick them on them, right? And here's the last thing I'll say before we get back to who you ultimately are. The you that was you before you forgot everything that you were capable of. You were a human brain, given a human brain. But before we get to all that, can Brian Stelter and Brian Williams, can you just stop, please? If you can help a brother out, if you can hook me up, you give Brian's a bad name. So just stop, Brian Williams at MSNBC. Just stop, Brian. I think it's Stunted, Brian Stunted. No, it's not a height joke. What is his last name? Brian somebody text me, right? You're giving Brian a bad name. Like, you ever notice I happen to have 2 sleeves of tattoos, right? A good portion of my upper body and arms are covered in tattoos. And they always show the bad guys with tattoos. They're always giving guys. So now you got to wear like a parka in the summertime because you're scared to death that someone will go, he's got tattoos, right? I saw only guys with tattoos commit felonies, right? So in that vein, Brian, please stop doing math on live TV. Other Brian over at the Communist News, CNN, over at the CNN, whatever it stands for. I said Communist News. A Freudian slip. What do you want with me? I've had brain surgeries. 5 of them. So, right? So will you just stop? It's giving Brian a bad name. All right, so here we are. Now, we got 10 minutes left. Let's get to the show. And each week we're going to build more and more and more. So if you want to stay half hour, maybe you've already left. But if you're still here and you go, I could have taken an hour of listening to that moron blather on. Great. And then we're going to have it so we can interact. We're going to do all kinds of things so that you don't have to just hunker down, get cabin fever. It drives you crazy. You, big bang or big breath. And for those of you that have listened to me say this before, if I could get through it one more time, I'd super appreciate it in case there's anyone here that's new to this. Big bang or big breath. Whether you believe in priests have the right word or primates, right? Holy Spirit, W-H-O-L-L-Y, like the quantum field. Or the Holy Spirit, H-O-L-L-Y, like God breathing a breath into Adam. Whether you believe we walked off the savannas of Africa or we got the boot and we were evicted from the Garden of Eden, the one thing that we all share in common, however you label the divine, right? Quantum field and gravity and all the rest of that, or God, however you spin it. Here's the one thing. You are the great grandchild of that entity. God or gravity, you picked, your call. It doesn't matter to me what you think it should matter to you. Doesn't matter. You are the great grandchild. Yes, I'll have Brian Williams check the math. You're the great, or Mara Gay over at New York Times, right? The great grandchild of that energy, whatever you believe in. And you were dropped here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself. And there isn't anything you can't handle when you remember ultimately who you are. So that's what I'd like this show to focus on. We'll get back. Believe me, I'll bring the boxing gloves. We'll start mixing it up with all the asshats. As I started to say earlier, I don't do all of this, right? My days are numbered. Maybe people here listening, our days are numbered. But I'm not busy picking these fights over anything that's going to happen to me. I'm here for one reason, and I know it's selfish of me, but let me just say, I'm here for one reason only. Because with the asshats running the show, whatever mess they create, it's our kids, our grandkids, your nieces and nephews, our nieces and nephews. It's the future generation, right? So if we said great, right? 10 great, grandchild of the divine. Just imagine I had said 11, right? We're here picking the battles, fighting these asshats, beating them back like I said, like whack-a-mole at Chuck E. Cheese. Not for us. I don't care what you think of me, and I don't care what you think of us, right? What we're doing this because our kids, our grandkids, our nieces and nephews, they're going to have to mop up the mess that these people have created for one reason. Well, 2 reasons. One, they have amnesia, and because of that amnesia, they have brittle brains atop balsa wood spines. They have perforated personas. Everything has to be about them. Well, I'm in it now to say, someone said, well, you'd be a lot less cavalier if you understood death. Look, they tapped me out. I was on the table. I was gone, right? Before the crash cart and everything else came thumbing in, right? So people say, oh, well, you wouldn't be so cavalier if you had ever faced death. Oh, please. I'm going to nod off here real quick. Will you just set an egg timer, wake me up when these people go away? All I'm trying to say is my days are numbered. But the days that aren't numbered, those are the days of my kids, my grandkids, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews. And it's up to us now while we can, unless you got a 6-year-old that goes, the hell with him. 20 years, he'll grow up, he'll fight these battles, right? If we don't fight the asshats now, if we don't push back now against this cultural amnesia, if we don't push back against these perforated personas and go, look, there's a balm for everything, all your aches and pains. And that balm, remember who you are. Use your brain the way God or gravity, however you decide, use your brain the way it's intended. You weren't given a gerbil brain. You were given a human brain, a human mind. And you can pull off literally anything. Your immune system is one of the most amazing creations on the planet. On the planet. Let's not hamstring it. Let's not chop block it. Let's not buy into all the hype and all the hysteria. Oh, the sky is falling. Oh, wolf. Oh, right? Right. You want to buy into the hysteria. But for the rest of us that have immune systems, that we'd like to be able to go, call up our immune system and go, hey, well, I'm in a little battle against Wuhan virus here. Could you maybe come on up and right, kind of like push it back a little bit? The immune system goes, sure, great. We're just lying around. You don't seem all that stressed, but yeah, no. Would you mind coming up? The Wuhan's at the front door. The virus is COVID's knocking. Dropped off something in the mailbox. Could you come up and fight him for me? And the immune system's like, yeah, we'll be right there. Right? It's like calling for backup as a cop. And yes, someone made fun of me this morning because I talked about Meshuggah minds. Yes, if you're going to force me to call in Yiddish as a backup, then it's on you. It's not on me, right? If I have to go to the big guns of Yiddish to get people to remember who they ultimately are, well, then I'm going to Yiddish away. Right? So let's try to be a little cooler to each other. Let's try to remember who we really are. Right? What we're ultimately capable of. That you have natural resources then can withstand anything as long as you don't distract them by all the hysteria. Are people going to have people died? Are people going to die? Like me? Are people with compromised immune systems? Are we unfortunately going to go home because of this coronavirus? Absolutely. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, right, one of my billionaire friends that wanted to bring down the market yesterday, one of the CMOs in one of these companies, right, he reminded me way back when that if you panic, you perish. So I'm not saying we don't want to pay attention to what's going on, right? Give up licking doorknobs. Don't share your spork when you go out in public. They cut down my Diet Coke machine the other day. I know it's caffeine free, right? Because you say, Brian, you on caffeine? They cut down the pop machine the other day because they were afraid that's going to work. Now I got and thank you very much. I won't say your name, but I got a text from someone this morning that doctors are saying that maybe Corona can live on a gas pump. So make sure you wear gloves when you're pumping, like diesel mitts, right? Now there'll be a run on diesel mitts and people will go, well, we found out that Brian owns a diesel mitt company and he made, who am I? Like a senator? Like Feinstein? Like, who am I? One of these people that made money on the market by knowing what was coming before they told the rest of us? Buy diesel mitts. Buy diesel mitts. And if anyone's listening that can buy me stock in a diesel mitt company, now would be the time to do it. All right. So here's the thing. With all the hysteria, I'm just saying we keep our heads about us. Remember who we ultimately are and that we can withstand damn near anything as long as we don't chop block our own immune system, right? If you panic, you perish. That's the only thing that I took from those back and forth tweets all day yesterday. If you panic, you perish. And I think there's a reason why. Because you're not paying attention. You're not focused on what's going on at hand. So don't share your spork, right? Don't lick doorknobs. I know, give up biting your nails, right? I saw this article the other day from a doctor, a hell of a lot smarter than anyone I know, who said that the chances of getting coronavirus are like 0.05% just out and about. Like coronavirus hides behind a bush, and it has Tourette's, by the way. I don't know if you knew this. Coronavirus has Tourette's. So if you're outside, it crouches in a bush and goes, "Hua!" and jumps out at you. I know, right? Your heart, my heart too, right? I even knew it was coming. It just jumps out. "Hua!" And now you're infected. No, the doctors, the brainiacs that really know what's going on are saying, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. If you're in lockdown, if you're in a boardroom having to go through any of these other CMO brainiacs, right? Busy virtually virtue signaling every one of these emails from the desk of. Okay, so in any event, all I'm simply suggesting is all of these different things going on. You and I are capable of standing up to them if we remember who we ultimately are. Now, on a personal note, and I have to keep leaning in because I don't have Wayne in my ear. He took the day off. You just can't find good help. Wayne took the day off. I should thank him for all the commercials you see running about the show. Well, let me say this. Having had amnesia, transglobal amnesia, I can tell you that, yes, the body still operates, right? I took a shower, I ate, I got dressed, I did all these other things. Apparently drove to the hospital. I didn't drive. Someone came and drove me to the hospital. But, right, so, yes, we can survive forgetting who we ultimately are. But it's basic. It's very, very basic. But when you remember everything. Right? It's like a Christmas toy. Oh, batteries not included. Bullshit. You came with batteries included. You have the marrow of your mind. So as I said, you have your authentic vigor. You have your all-natural being. And when you fall back on that, now that's a backup. And that's all I'm suggesting. If you panic, you perish. I'm not saying don't pay attention. Just give up biting your nails. Give up picking your nose. Give up, right? All these people, well, you got to wash your hands for 20 seconds. I can also, just a thought, right? Because this will get me all kinds of trouble. I'll end with this. People tell me, like before I went in for the last surgery, they go, look, we got your immune system knocked down as it is, so maybe you want to lay off some of this antibacterial stuff. Because here, just in case, now look, I'm not an immunologist, and there's plenty of them. Just come into my feed. You'll have all kinds of infectious disease experts. You really will. Oh, no, you could take that to the bank. If they're still open. So you could take that to the bank. Let me just say that my own doctors are like, yeah, you may want to slow down on that antibacterial stuff, gel. Gel was the word I was looking for. The antibacterial stuff, because it's killing your body's ability to fight back. So let's talk, this I will end on. Let's talk about progressive adaptation, right? It's why if people say, oh, if your food falls on the floor, give it a standing 3 count. I give it a standing 20 minutes, right? If it's been on the floor for more than 20 minutes, maybe I'll blow it off. But here's the reason why. Because just like everyone wants to go to a gym. Why? Well, I like to do push-ups. Okay, great. I like to do bench presses. So, you progressively adapt the muscle. Your immune system didn't evolve the same way. God didn't, if you'd rather not say evolve, God didn't give you an immune system that also wants a challenge. Damn, from time to time, eat some dirt, scrape some knees, So all the hysteria, stop biting your nails. Don't share your sporks. All I'm saying is if you can still find a place that serves fountain, I don't know. Can you still find a place that serves fountain Diet Cokes? Right? Don't share your spoon with 800 strangers. Don't share your straw with people that you don't know. Or maybe you're better off not sharing your straw with anybody. I think that, especially with little kids, they're like walking petri dishes for the flu and everything else known to mankind. All I'm suggesting is that your immune system works the same way. Progressive adaptation. And we're in this trouble we're in, and this will get me all kinds of negative hits. We're in this trouble we're in because we've just treated our immune system like crap, right? We've beaten the living snot out of it, and it's like got 2 black eyes and there's a bloody nose, and it's got a fat lip because we keep beating it, and then we go, hey, by the way, could you get up off the floor and come save me? Your immune system's like, what? So I'm not saying don't wash your hands. I'm simply saying that the doctors that are saying you can go 2 or 3 days without taking a shower, right? Give your body the chance of fighting back. Good Lord. All right, so that's a wrap. Here's what we're going to do. Reminisce. What are you going to reminisce about as we get ready to leave this very special edition of All Natural Being? And we'll be back next week. I'll get better at it. You just won't have to look at me for the full half hour. I'll learn audios and videos, and I'll bring in this and that. I'll get a lot better, I promise. But we're going to be here on Sundays for reminiscence, to remind you of who you ultimately are, where you are, the labyrinth of life itself, here in the Garden of the Mortals. The Garden of the Mortals. We're mortals, which is why I say mortal up. And ultimately, what you're capable of when you remember who you are. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap. Thank you so very much for putting up with me just turning on the camera. I know, I tried to get it so you weren't looking up my nostrils. I don't know if I shaved. No. Yeah, I might. I don't know. But in any event, I'll get a lot better by this time next week. Look, be safe. Don't share your spork. Don't bite your nails. If you're like me, you want a social distance from the refrigerator, I could stand to lose a few pounds. I got to tell you, don't steal the gallon-sized jugs of Purell from the front of Home Depot while it's still open. Come on, have some honor about you. But ultimately, remember who you truly are, because in the end, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Thank you so very much for joining me. And we will see you next Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Might be an hour-long show if I get better at realizing what it is that I'm doing. So, and Wayne, I miss you, brother. This is a lot tougher than one would think. All right, we're out of here. Thank you so very much. Be safe. Don't share your spork. And I am absolutely confident that, now, unless the internet crashes, right? I am absolutely, God, if it crashes, call me. We'll do a group telephone call till the phone lines crash. We'll do a group call, however, but I'll be here every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. to remind you of who you ultimately are and what you're ultimately capable of when you stop suffering from amnesia, when you stop letting people slur you. How tough is a slur? Tougher than human skin? No, it isn't. All right. Have an absolutely fantastic week. If you need me, you can reach me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, I guess, Periscope, Chatgram, Instagram, Snapchat. Oh, it is Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. Just or email me over at mortalup.com. You can email me and I'll help out in any way I can. Thank you so very much for joining me. And I hope this has been a little help in reminding you what it takes to put your head on straight. And that's simply remember who you ultimately are. Till next week, I'll see you then. Bye now.